Hi, I'm Steve Dwyer, founder of Edify Hub. On today's video tip, I'd like to share an answer to a question that was posed in the comments of our Social Prayer Solutions page. A couple of weeks ago, I posted the very first episode of the Lift Up podcast. On that podcast, I talked about the prayer apps and what I'm using now. And on the Social Prayer Solutions page, Dan Sehested asked this question. He said, I'm using an iPad Air. I have one list on it and another longer list on my laptop. Which app do you think would work for me? It needs to be as user-friendly as possible. Well, Dan, I can certainly understand why you would have a longer list on your laptop and a shorter list on your iPad Air. It's a lot easier to type things and to keep things up to date on a laptop than it is on a little iOS device like an iPhone or an iPad Air. And that's one of the reasons that for a long time I used Evernote to keep things in sync. It was easy to type things in on the laptop or on my desktop and then synchronize them, and then they'd be there on my phone to pray for them later. And I explained that workflow and how I used it at edifyhub.com/Evernote. And you can go there and see an article that I wrote a while back on how I use that. But one of the things Evernote did not do well is to present a simple prayer experience every day when it was time for me to pray for the things that I wanted to pray for that day. There was a lot of tapping and sliding and opening and scrolling, and I spent more time navigating Evernote than I did actually praying. So I needed something that would just get out of the way and let me focus on praying. And that's when I discovered PrayerMate from Andy Gears. And so that's what I use today. So to answer your question, that is what I'm using. And I'm going to walk through how to install it and how to set it up and maintain your prayer list. I'll use an iPhone because the iPhone fits a little bit better here. So you'll walk through exactly the same steps if you're using your iPad Air. So I have the App Store open. You can see it there. Then I'm going to search for PrayerMate. So we'll just type in PrayerMate. So we'll search for PrayerMate. Now I've already downloaded this once before, so I don't know what the price is. When I purchased it several months ago, it was $2.99. On occasion, Andy Gears has somebody sponsor his PrayerMate app, and that sponsor makes it available for free. I don't know what you'll see when you get to the App Store. If you can get it for free, that's wonderful. We'll download it and install it. And through the power of post-production, you didn't have to wait as long as I did. It's installed. We'll tap Open. And when PrayerMate first opens up, it's assuming that it needs to guide you through creating a prayer list at all. So it's going to walk you through a few steps. First of all, you see a little explanation here. PrayerMate organizes the people and causes you want to be praying for into categories. We'll talk about categories in a little bit. Each day, it gives you a selection of subjects from each category to help you pray for a spread of issues. So it can help you balance out your praying across different things. And if you just leave things alone and don't try to customize things, it will pick one thing out of each category to present for you each day. It'll just help you balance things out. I'll show you a little bit of how you can have a little more control, but I don't want to get into too complicated because we're looking for something simple. So we'll hit the Get Started and we'll move on. Now again, it's trying to help you out as if you don't have a prayer list at all. So it's going to ask you for a couple of family members, and it's going to add those to the family category. I'll skip that for now because I'm going to talk about some other things. Then enter the names of 7 people you'd like a chance to share your faith with. There is one category that it comes pre-built with, at least in the version I have right now, that will schedule a different person for each day of the week. I'm going to skip that for now as well. You could list that out if that's the way that you'd like to pray. So now we're good to go. We're gonna pray. Now it comes with some of the things built in already. The Lord's Prayer, growing more like Jesus, open doors. Now the way it works, When you first open the app every morning or every evening, whenever you have your prayer time, this is the screen that you're going to see. An overview. It says coming up, and these are the items that it's time to pray for today. Then to go into each one, you just swipe to the left and you see the details of the first item. And if it's too long, you just scroll, use your finger, scroll up and down. When you're done praying for that one, you swipe it and you move on to the next one. It gets out of the way. It's that simple to just move from item to item as you're praying. And then it keeps track of which ones that you've passed. So if you close the app and come back an hour or several hours later, then it will remember that you already prayed for certain ones and it won't present them again. Now, let's suppose that I want to add a new item. So I already have my own list that I want to put in there. To add a new item, just hit the plus button in the upper left corner. And then I can enter the name of the item I want to pray for. So let's say I want to pray for my pastor, Pastor Sweat. Well, I can just enter in Pastor Sweat. Okay, and then the category, that'll be my church. My church is one of the built-in categories. Excellent. I could link to a contact or add a photo. I want to keep this simple, so I'm just going to put in some details. I'll tap in details, and what is it that I want to pray for my pastor? Well, let's see, I want to pray for wisdom with leading the church, and I want to pray for power in preaching. So I've chosen those two things that I want to pray for. Now let's say I want to pray for Pastor Sweat every Sunday. If you come down, here's the scheduling mode. I can choose the schedule that says I want to pray for my pastor. I don't want you to choose the schedule, prayer mate. I want to choose the schedule and I want to pray for him every Sunday. Tap done, and now on my overview screen, on Sunday, I'll see Pastor Sweat. But now let's suppose I want to pray for something every day. Well, I'm going to add divine appointments. So I'm going to pray for a divine appointment, for an opportunity to share the Word of God or the love of God with somebody else. So I will click the plus button again, add a new subject, and I will type in divine appointment. A divine appointment, and I will add that to the category of, let's say, unbelievers, because that's really the category it belongs in. I want to pray for an opportunity to have a divine appointment with an unbeliever. And in this one, the scheduling mode, I will say day of the week, and I will put in every day. And now, when I get to my overview screen for today, that divine appointment, it's right there, and it will be every morning when I enter it. There's also a scheduling mode on there where I can choose a day of the month. You saw day of the week was an option. Day of the month is another option. One of the things I've entered on my prayer list is the 31 days of praying for your wife. It's a list that I found online. And so day 1 of every month, there's a certain thing that I pray for my wife. Day 2, day 3, all the way to day 31. And I can take each of those and I can put those and assign it in PrayerMate a day of the month. And then every morning, whatever the scheduled prayer is that day, those are the things that I pray for, just to help me to pray a variety of different things to help my wife. Now we talked about categories, and you saw some of them that were built in. If you tap the orange gear button in the upper right, this is where we can see some of the broader settings. You can get really complicated if you want to. I'm going to keep it simple. Here are the categories. If you have some things that you're not going to be praying for, the pray for 7, for me, that's really the same as the unbelievers. So I'm going to get rid of the category, swipe it to the left, and hit delete. That category is gone. I can add my own category. So if I type in a category here, and let's say I want to put my coworkers. So I'm going to pray for coworkers. Coworkers. And then I can choose how many coworkers do I want to pray for every day if I haven't assigned them to specific days of the week. So if it's on a default scheduling mode, then the number of items per session will decide. how often I want to pray for. So for my coworkers, I could say, let me pray for 3 different coworkers a day. I could put all the way up to the right. If I drag it all the way, then I'll get all of them. But let's say I want to pray for 3 different coworkers. So I'm done adding the category. Now I can add the subject. I tap that right there. And now I can say, I want to pray for John. So I got him. We're going to add another subject. I'm going to pray for Jane. And I can just keep doing this and just add all of my coworkers. And then when I am back on the home page, it will show me 3 of my coworkers every day. And it'll just pick the next 3 that I haven't prayed for yet. So those are the categories. There's a lot more that we could go into here. There are feeds that you can subscribe to for things that Andy Gears has coordinated through the PrayerMate.net program. I won't go into all of those. I want to keep it simple. If you're looking for something that's going to be a very simple way to track your prayer list every morning, PrayerMate is the one that I recommend. So Dan, thanks so much for asking your question, and any of the others of you, if you have any questions, you can go to the bottom of this page and add a comment to the bottom, or any other page that's at edifyhub.com. If you want to know more about some of the resources that we've presented, go ahead and add a comment, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching this episode of the Edify Hub video tip.